Hi. Hello. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and hear about so many ideas and future things about architecture. This is a new experience to me. So I'm coming here to show you a project that I'm working in, that I started last year, which is about sustainable and eco-architecture into rehabilitation of a building. Can you switch? Okay. So the first thing is, what does it mean to, So what is this? This is a training program, okay? The idea is for us to understand and to apply things in our job. The best way of learning is by doing this. I come with this because it's the way I work. I like to try. I like to see how things work, and after understanding that, it's much easier to apply it in my project. So this came to this idea of this project. It's a training program, and the idea is to show how to intervene in existing building to make a rehabilitation. Like a critic to the kind of intervention that we have been having in Portugal, and I don't think it's the only example of intervention in heritage, which is not rehabilitation, it's just to tear everything inside the building and just take the facade as this is rehabilitation. So this is a critic and show what that means, and also to apply the sustainable way of thinking and eco-architecture into this kind of intervention. So more or less what the stages in the concepts that we need to understand is what is heritage. Here I talk about vernacular heritage because this program is something that the idea is to go from project to project. So this is the first project which I start with a vernacular building. But the idea is, what is heritage? As a memory, as a testimony of an identity of a culture, which makes us unique in each place. So that is the thing. So if we don't understand what is that identity in the building and we lose that, we're not making a rehabilitation. So what is that kind of intervention? That is the idea of this project, and think about this. And then how to apply eco-architecture. So eco-architecture thinking that I want to intervene in rehabilitation and any kind of architecture with the less impact in nature. So be involved, integrated in nature. That is eco-architecture. But eco-architecture doesn't mean that it's sustainable. It's one of the things, it's a part of it, it's the environmental part of sustainability, but it doesn't mean that it's sustainable. So here, eco-architecture is coming into as a part of the idea of sustainability in the intervention on an existing building. So we're going to talk about environment, social and culture, because the building is a testimony of a culture, but also to give the emphasis of the population and the area and that people that we are intervening in that area. So energetic, of course, we want to have the less more effective energy, and then economical, because that is something that nowadays we cannot live without thinking is economical. So how these project stages are done. So data collection, research, then understand the rehabilitation assessment, implementation by designing and project, and then the part of training, which is awareness, going to the public, go to architects, engineers, any kind of public, a lot of owners come also to this kind of training to understand the kind of intervention that is possible, what are the involvement on all of this. So this is open to all public. So the project, like I said, started in a special building, which is in the north of Portugal. So we're talking about Minhota House, is a typology of vernacular architecture that we have in the north of Portugal. So we try to understand, we're going to understand what is the traditional local architecture in that area, how the surrounding is influencing this kind of architecture and how it goes to these solutions and also the landscape. So this is the whole thing. Then understand the building itself, what are this architecture and the characteristics of the building itself, because we have a typology, but each building has its own characteristics. And then before that, after understanding the building, also understand the state that he is now, to understand if it's possible to reuse something, or do I have to tear everything down? What was the original part of it? What was the intervention that came with the use with the building? So we already went to different states. So after understanding the building, then we had to tear down the parts that were not in good conditions. So recycle, understand which I can use and recycle, reuse, and here we start seeing that this beam, for example, is being reused and it's in the same place, but then I needed to change and make new beams for the ground, for example, and then restore. So these are the steps and the ideas to incorporate in this kind of intervention. Then go around the local area, the region, and understand the local materials as earth, wood, bamboo, and cane straw. I'm not putting here a stone, and you saw the house that is made of stone, so the traditional architecture from this area, it's mainly stone. Everyone, when you talk about what is the main material, is stone, but right now stone is not so easy to get, so it's much easier earth, because earth is everywhere, it's under our feet. We can use it anytime. Wood is something that we have. Cane and bamboo was not there in the old days, is there now, I can use it, and the straw is also there. And then natural resources as water, lighting, and energy. How was this being used in the old days? How is that integrated in the vernacular architecture? And how am I going to be able to apply this and use this as a sustainable construction in this building? So the methodology of this is we have sessions, with theory and practical exercise. So I invite experts on different fields that go there, talk about a theme that is going to be applied in the construction. So what is happening is people go to this kind of workshops and they learn the theory of the team, and then we go to the site and we're going to apply it in the construction, and from there we have a building done. So this is an idea. So okay, so just finish. Learning by doing is the idea. So theory and practice and on-site, hands-on, just use your hands and make this. We have already having the theoretical sections inside the house. This is some example of practical exercises. This is characterization of earth. This is adobe construction, and this is compressed earth blocks that is being happening there, and a photo of one of the sections. And so I'm inviting you, all of you, for this August to go there and be a part of a summer school for 2 weeks in Portugal. in a village inside the country, and talk about sustainable ecological rehabilitation, thermal behavior by insulation with straw and cork. We're going to make this kind of construction, healthy environment that earth give us inside the house. So work with earthen floors and walls, and then also talk about water, how water is made this town, how water was project in this town, and how we're going to apply it in this house by rainwater harvesting and grey water reuse. So all of this you can learn in August in Portugal for 2 weeks.
Thank you very much.